Well, hello and welcome to the first video. I'm going to keep things pretty simple this time, and I'm going to show you how to make these chili rellenos. I've explained in the text exactly how this thing came to be named. I'm fully aware it's not the relleno that we're used to. So we're going to start with some ground beef. Easy way to go. As you can see, this is the tool shed, the workshop. I don't have a problem calling it that. The key thing to the meat, the key thing with the meat is the cinnamon and the nutmeg. First, I'm going to let the meat heat up before I start adding any of the seasonings to it. While we're doing that, let me show you a simple technique for the onion. We're going to cut off both ends of the onion. And then what I like to do is chop it right in half. And then I go ahead and I clean the outer skin off until I get to the part that I want. I have a composter out back, so everything that I can compost gets put in the composter. Once you have the onions like this, one more little piece of skin, you lay them face down and you make your cuts this way. Now, I know some of this might be a little hard to follow, but it's not the Food Network kitchen. So I'm making the cuts through the onion this way, and then I'm going to cut through the onion this way, which does all the dicing for me. How much onion? Quarter to half a cup, depending on your taste. The meat's starting to cook. Going to give it a little spin. We're going to need some garlic. Technique for the garlic is you cut off the two ends. And then you take your mallet and you just give it a pop. And that skin will come right off. I use a couple cloves of garlic per about a pound of meat. And then you just chop it up. I use two knives in the kitchen to do everything. I've got my little paring knife and I've got my cleaver. Everything I need to do, I can do with those two knives. And once the garlic's ready, and it goes to the meat. Garlic's sticky stuff, so you want to keep your hands clean while you're working. I also like to clean as I go, because then everything is ready to go for the next time. I don't have to clean up first before I get started on something. Okay. So, we're going to have a couple scrambled eggs. Eggshells will go in the composter. Now, you can season the eggs if you want to. But these chili rellenos, they're pretty strong. When I say strong, I mean they're hot. How hot? Well, that depends on the chilies that you use. And here I have some green chilies that have already been cleaned. I buy them now and they're roasted. The thing about the recipe calls for about equal parts of meat and chili. I would encourage you to experiment with that based on your tastes. These are hot chilies. Put too many of these in the meat, you won't be able to eat it. Should be fairly well ground up. By the way, I do have one chili left over here. What you want to do is you want to take the top off the chili, and then you can run it under the water, open it up, take the seeds out, and the chilies are already roasted. Get most of the roasting skin off the chili. Now, the reason I say most, you don't have to get too fanatic about it, because this stuff is tastes good. It's charcoal. Now, when you're working with chilies like this, I would encourage you to wear gloves. I'm used to doing this, but you don't want to rub your eyes after you've been doing this, okay? So, now we're waiting for the meat. The meat's starting to cook. We're going to start adding our seasoning. The seasoning is cinnamon and nutmeg. The interesting part about this particular mix is that you're not putting it in little quantities. You might use as much as a tablespoon of cinnamon and a tablespoon of the nutmeg. And I can't cook anything without pepper. Pepper to taste. And just enough salt for brightness. Pinch yourself. Not a lot of salt. And as you can hear from my voice, that last chili that I showed you how to peel has my nose running. Okay, this meat mixture, you want it real fine. No chunks in this one. It's not spaghetti sauce. Now, I'm a big proponent of what Alton Brown says about only by multitaskers, not unitaskers. Stop. I have one unitasker that my wife bought, and it's actually quite handy for doing meat. I call it a unitasker, but anything that you really want to get ground up fine, it's an excellent tool for that. You use it for mashed potatoes also. Now this meat is pretty good. I don't see a lot of grease in the meat. Another trick that you can do if you have meat that is real greasy, you can actually run it through the water, pour the water off, and that will get the grease out. The other technique is you can put a paper towel in here. Not too much of an issue with the grease. Okay, so now we're going to taste what we have. And believe me, you can't cook anything if you don't taste it. I can smell it. It smells good. So I'm going to go with a little bit more of both. But it is coming along well. I have some powdered garlic here. I'm not going to use it because I used the fresh garlic this time. Now we're going to do a little mix. And we do have some grease in the pan. So I'm going to use the easy method for getting it out this time, which is the paper towel method. Take piece of paper towel, you're just going to put it here in the pan, don't burn yourself. A little bit of tilting and mixing, and that paper towel will draw that grease out. Put one on the other side and push it in the other direction. This comes out into the sink. Now remember, you don't want to throw that down the drain, because our drains aren't designed for grease traps. Our drains are designed for drains, for water. So again, this is pretty excellent meat. We're going to add the chilies. And again, the original recipe called for equal parts. Do that to taste. And it looks beautiful. I don't know if you can see that. We'll get that smell-o-vision installed one of these days. Turn off the stove. The last thing I'm going to do is a little bit of flour. The flour is going to come in handy later, and it's going to help absorb a little bit more of the liquid in the meat for what comes next. Oh yeah, that's looking good.